Just want to give a quick update. Um, it it is still a challenge for me to find myself going for extended periods of time without being a consumer. Yeah, it's just still a challenge. The thing is that now it's so crazy to the point where when I do find whatever, let's say whatever content or whatever set of external stimulation there is, I will engage with whatever said stimulation to the point where I just feel so utterly terrible. Like, not terrible, but like my head kind of hurts, like I got a headache because of the brain being so overstimulated and stuff. So it's just an unworthy experience, you know. And I was thinking about this last night before I meditated and fell into sleep, that it feels counterintuitive when we think about it, but the actual true dopamine that really lasts and is really worthy is the one that we get from doing things that make us feel proud. So, for example, for my case, being more creative, reading more, drawing even, or writing, whatever, doesn't have to be anything specific. Can be stories, poems, music, whatever it can be, philosophy. It doesn't have to be boxed in one thing. But doing sort of things like that is way more fulfilling because it is not stimulation. It is patient. It is effort. It is surrender. It's devotion to something bigger than just stimulation. And that's the type of thing we are trying to replicate when we run to these social media apps, when we run to the screens, to the televisions, to the secular music. We are trying to simulate this feeling of long lasting satisfaction, but it never can be fulfilled. It never can be received through the channels to which requires no effort that we so desperately are addicted to. And it's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, man, like that's the reality. And then again, that doesn't take away the fact that your whole entire nervous system, your whole entire system is literally hooked on this drug we call our cell phones. Quite literally, because when I do not have an internet connection, it is so hard to just find fulfillment in just being, you know. You just think about, oh fuck, what am I missing on the internet? What if this is happening? What if there's a lot of what ifs, you just put yourself in this box, in this realm, in your mind, where you like, oh fuck, I'm missing a lot. Oh fuck, what if someone dropped? Oh fuck, this and that. But then when you get that connection and you go to whatever apps you wanted to go see for updates, you realize now that there was just there's nothing, dog. Like, no one has dropped. Like, not that no one has dropped. Like, the videos for, say, YouTube, they're not even that. They aren't even anything that you just. That's the paradox, because once you go from a period of, just, you can say, abstinence, where you just haven't been consuming anything, even though you feel uncomfortable, there's also that deep, clear feeling, like, on the forefront of things. Yeah, you are uncomfortable because it's like you're not used to just not having to watch screens and just be glued to the blue light, ne? But then there's this underlying thing that is happening subconsciously. We are unconscious of it, but it's there. It's this thing that, I feel it's the fact that there is a cause and an effect. So the cause, you removing screens, has that effect, even though for the initial days or the hours of which you are being uncomfortable, it is just subliminally, you can't even feel it, but it is very felt. As soon as you get back into the internet, you just start to see how fast paced it is. You see how the dopamine, it just dysregulates your whole nervous system. You go from being this calm and just clear centered person, grounded person, and as soon as you just get that hit of dopamine, it's like adrenaline just spikes, cortisol spikes, like the stress. You just feel you feel taken away from your groundedness and put into the sky, and you are dropping, and in order to catch yourself, you have to continuously get these dopamine hits so that you remain in the sky, right? Because if you aren't in the sky remaining with the dopamine hits, you drop, and it doesn't feel good to drop. It feels very more uncomfortable than when you are grounded, which is so weird. It's like you pay to be uncomfortable. Like you volunteer yourself to be thrown in the air, basically. I don't know if you can grasp what I'm trying to say, but I understand it, what I'm saying right now, and I'm trying to articulate it as best as I can. Hopefully I'm doing a great job. But yeah, as soon as you get back, it's like when you go on a fast and then you start eating food. The first food that you eat, you can feel, damn man, it feels different. You kind of miss being in a fasted state, but then because it's like you throw yourself in the air. Now when you begin to fall, you want to to throw yourself in the air again, because only there you feel safety, and it feels safer than when you are falling, not realizing that you are falling back to your natural state, which is being grounded. But it feels like this bad thing because you are where you are not supposed to be. You aren't supposed to be in the air in the first place. So falling is bad, is uncomfortable for you because you're not even supposed to be there. I really hope this analogy is obviously making sense, because it's kind of is making sense in my eyes when I think about it. But yeah, man, basically it's just a challenge to just well, I guess it's just a matter of intention, being really intentional about what you want, about the actions that you take and the things that you surround in your mental environment. Because really, it's just a matter of decision making. You decide to read a book instead of just gluing your eyes to the screens. You deciding to be creative instead of just gluing yourself to the screens, deciding to listen to solfeggio frequencies instead of circular music or whatever is trending. It's all just a matter of choice, choosing the frequency you want to experience in this reality. But then the influences to which we decide upon those choices, they are always influenced by our desires, our environment, our feelings and emotions in the time. And most times we are uncomfortable, bro, so we seek comfort, we seek pleasure, and therefore we find ourselves taking these decisions that are pleasure driven, comfort driven, ecstatic, this and that. Yeah, man, I guess it's just a matter of just trial and error. As long as there is the intention, the underlying intention to be better, one day, you know, whether you keep falling, you keep rising, you keep falling. Because bro, I've been falling, bro. Like I've had the days where I was just so bored. I am so bored, and my mind just gets to this point where it's like, damn, it is so loud, bro. Like I have to silence my mind, and the only way I knew how to was to just to dumb it, to just be in the state of where I'm just watching screens and I'm not thinking anymore. And I tried to escape. I tried to look for coins so I could just buy myself data. Hey, bruh, I couldn't even get those coins. I found myself watching movies I've seen like more than 10 times now, and they don't even hit the same. That's because I'm chasing a hit. I'm chasing a high, bruh. The dopamine we get from these social media apps, those things, I've seen studies, people saying those things are quite relatively close to cocaine, bruh. Cocaine. Imagine. These are literally drugs, and we give them to our kids, our teenagers, our adults. Everyone is hooked to this drug 24/7, bro. It is absurd. Even right now, it's 6:37. I was up 4 a.m. Right? Obviously, I had decent enough sleep. I was asleep around like 9 p.m. That's when I sleep. So those are decent enough hours. But I've been just glued to the screens. I've just been here, bro. I've just been here, bro. And it doesn't even feel nice after a certain period of time, bro. You just feel so useless because you just see yourself like you've just been sitting here like in this one position for hours, doing nothing but just being entertained, or rather not even entertained but stimulated. you know it's not even feeling good, bro. It doesn't even feel good anymore, but we still choose it because it's like, fuck, what else am I gonna do? Like nothing else gives me this certain feeling, which it's just a matter of you reaching to that space, but it nothing else can give you this feeling of such extreme measures of ecstasy with little to no effort, but just clicking a button and swiping and scrolling. Nothing else in the world can give you that. But then you have to understand that it was never meant to be like that because it's a drug. You have to now choose the feeling you want, choose your ecstasy, choose your dopamine. I've seen a video about that, saying you must choose your dopamine, because really anything you do, it can give you a good feeling, because it's all about perception. How do you perceive it? Who are you in this act of doing whatever you are doing? Do you see this as a challenge? Are you excited about it? Do you have a goal that you are wishing to achieve in said task? You can gamify anything if you choose to, because this is just reality. We make it. It is what we make it. And I'm sure that, okay, as I'm thinking about it now, this could really be the first step towards like long lasting enjoyment and fulfillment in your own reality, which is to just gamify your habits, the boring habits uh that you consider boring. Just gamify them, bro. View them as like game, as quests. You do this quest, you get a boost in knowledge. Let's say you read or you do something creative, and then your creative attribute increases the more you do these things. Just see yourself in like a gaming position, in a gaming POV, bro, and just remain there. It's hard to just stay in that frequency. It's very difficult because the waves of emotions and thoughts, they just take you from far end to the other, you know um but yeah, man. One thing I've realized is it's very important to be consistent with the habits. For example, I stumbled upon this realization. Obviously, I have had creators mention this before, creators that I've watched, but then I could not resonate or understand it to the level that I do now. They were saying that it's very important, especially for beginning traders who aren't really profitable yet. It's very, very important for you to remain consistent with your approach in trading, but not just the approaches on its own, but to always show up, because showing up means that you get to go through the stages of having bad habits to having good habits, and then you showing up each and every single time, you maintaining those good habits. So it's then easier for you to just, keep those good habits and then find those results you want in trading. And when I began to reflect on my own trading journey, I saw that I would have these moments where I would get a sudden burst of motivation, and I would go, 2 months, 3 months of just pure dedication to my craft, to my art, to this skill set. And it will always just be this pendulum where we start from being a quote unquote bad trader, having these bad habits, and then facing losses, blowing accounts, humbling experiences, and then reaching to the point where we see the only way through is being disciplined in our approach and everything and following the plan, and then we devote ourselves to the process, and then we would then start to pick up this energy, this momentum, which obviously the results weren't there yet, but we subconsciously felt good about the process because we knew we were doing exactly what we needed to do. And then for, let's say, for whatever reason, something happens in my life, maybe I lose the accounts, and then I just lose the motivation to just continue, because I'm not trading any accounts, so there's no longer the possibility of making money, so I would just stop on its own. Or maybe I come across something, maybe a job, maybe a course, or maybe whatever, a distraction, maybe whatever it could be, that just makes me stop, and the momentum just dies down. And then maybe, let's say, a month, 2 months, 3 months goes by, and then I pick up some sudden motivation again to get back into trading. And when I do, I would begin again on the negative emotional, or I mean on the negative pendulum side, where I'm a bad trader again because I'm excited about trading, I'm visualizing profits, this and that. I start with bad habits, I lose, I get humbling experiences, and then I get to the positive side where I'm consistent with the good habits. So it's always been like this on and off, you know, cycle, where we always start on the bad trading habits and then end up on the good trading habits, but then we stop. We aren't consistent with it, and I feel like that's partly the reason why I've never seen any real success in just terms of just exponential growth, because I've always just been a person that just starts. And now when I realized this, I was like, damn, man. Yeah, man, even if I don't have any trading accounts, let's just be consistent, bro, because it's good for us as a person, as the person that we are building ourselves to become. Let's It takes the focus back to you as the person, because when I view things in terms of, oh, I'm only trading because I have a trading account, I'm only viewing about the potential of making money, and I'm not literally seeing myself as the person who makes money. I'm just seeing the possibility of making money. Therefore, it's very easy to get overtaken by greed and all these other common psychological challenges, right? But then when there is no account to trade, but you're still showing up to the market consistently, now you're no longer holding on to the potential of making any money because you're not trading anything. So you're just focusing more on you being the person that is able to execute on the skill that you have accumulated, and doing that repetitively and just continuously, consistently over time, to see those results on real time, right? So it just puts the focus back onto you, which is where it was supposed to be at the first place, because the money is not made by you clicking things, it's made by the decisions, by why you are doing this, why are you buying, why are you selling. It's made by the person who you are in the moment, that makes that decision. So yeah, it just puts the focus back onto you. And I guess it's the same when I'm facing this challenge of just, consumerism and creating, finding myself being bored, just puts the focus back onto me as a person, instead of what can I do in this physical reality to feel stimulated, you know, to make me feel something that I'm not feeling right now. Now, because we the best option for that is obviously the social media, but not having access to the social media, it then just naturally puts the focus onto me as to, okay, what do I want to do? And the more you start thinking like that, you start to get those, okay, where do I want to be? Who do I want to be? What are the things that I see myself having as my attributes? It just starts to push the focus back onto the person we are becoming in the moment, and then we begin to feel the actual true riches, if you could put it like that, the actual dopamine, the actual good feelings, because it is a much better feeling to have, when you are happy and confident and satisfied with the person you have become or the person you are becoming, over just sitting all day in the couch or in your bed just rotting on TikTok. That it never feels good to do that ever. So I guess it's just a matter of just doing it, putting myself in, we can say, isolation long enough to the point where my focus and attention starts to just naturally drift back to inward as to who am I becoming, and then just remaining there for long enough that it becomes the new norm, it becomes the new baseline. My nervous system becomes regulated to that reality, to the point where even when I have access to social media now, I no longer have the desire to, but not just the desire, I no longer want to, in like the general sense. Like, I choose better, I choose to focus inward instead of putting value on the external and making it be the quote unquote God that dictates the internal state I feel. I think that makes sense. But I did not want to make this video very long. It already is over 20 minutes, so I'm gonna end it here. And yeah, man, I will catch you on the next. Cheers.